Hey there, welcome back to the Beyond Forgiveness podcast. I am your host, Alex Christine, and today we are joined by a very special guest. Her story resonates very deeply with me during this season of life, and I hope it might touch your hearts as well. Cheri is a U.S. Air Force veteran and former critical care flight nurse whose 25-year nursing career was cut short by a traumatic brain injury in 2019. In the wake of that loss and transition, she found unexpected healing through art. And today, as an artist, she explores the intersection of creativity, trauma recovery, and spirituality, which I think is super, super cool and amazing to incorporate in daily life, which is one of her core messages, and is also why I'm looking forward to talking to her. Her work is described as both calming and alive, embodying themes of resilience, grief, and transformation. Cheri speaks on overcoming adversity, the power of creativity and healing, and why art belongs not only in galleries, but in everyday life. So I will include a link to her website in the bio for you to check out her work. I also want to point out before we get started today that I am an ambassador for Slide Jewels, and I'm wearing this cute little heart necklace. My mom actually pointed it out before I started this episode. And I also got a bracelet. If you use the link in the bio that I'll include, you can get one free jewelry box each month, and it's special made for you, and you get really cute stuff with it. Like for mine, I was really hoping that I was gonna get gold instead of silver because I prefer gold, and both of them were gold. And so I'm not wearing the other one. There was a bracelet, and the bracelet was super, super cute, but I'm obviously incompetent because I broke it, so it's not the bracelet's fault. Totally good bracelet. I just am incapable of putting it on by myself, so yeah. Otherwise, this necklace is amazing, and yeah, you can use the link in the bio. You get the whole box for free. You just have to pay for shipping. But yeah, so thank you again so much for tuning into this episode, and let's get into it. Did your introduction, and yeah, it was nicely tailored. I did not say your last name because I don't know how to pronounce it. So how do you pronounce your last name, Cheri?
It's Carandanis.
Carandanis. Okay.
Carandanis. And the first name's Cheri.
Cheri. Okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry. Okay,
No.
so I
It's
pronounced
a
the
funny
other one wrong.
story. No, it's a funny story because my dad named me Cheri. He loves
Uh-huh.
that name. My mom's Korean, and so she could never pronounce Cheri.
Yes.
she calls me Cheri.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I love that.
So I
Oh,
go by either one.
right. Yes. Yeah, I love that. Okay. So, wow. So your mom is Korean. So you're a Korean American then? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Aw, that's awesome. Do you
Yeah,
get
raised in a biracial home, and yeah, that
so how
comes
about,
with
is
all
this
its own
food?
things.
Yes, that's amazing. I love cultural like differences and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
do you have any? Would you like food? What was that like? Like, what did
Oh,
you have different
that,
meals?
yeah. So it's so funny because my mom would always make two dinners.
Uh huh.
She would make one for my brother and my father, which was the typical American dinner. And then
Yeah.
she would have a Korean meal for me and her.
Yes. Aw, I
So,
love that. Yes.
yeah. So even our meals were
Right.
were biracial.
Yes. Whenever I was in high school, I dated someone who is Filipino, and his Lola would
Oh.
come often. I loved pancit, but
Oh
um,
my God. I could eat
each
it by the pot. It's
same,
so
same. The
good.
plates were overflowing every time I
Yeah.
had it. It was so
Yeah.
good.
And that's their love language. It's just like, Eat, eat.
Yes,
I
yeah.
love it. I
There
love
was when his Lola was there one time though, I'd walked past the stovetop though, and I saw a fish with its eyeballs in it, and I'm like, oh no, I'm really scared.
It's so
So
funny. My husband, we've been married 24 years and he still can't get used to that. Like I don't
yeah,
cook that, but my mom does sometimes, and he'll go to her house and he'll be like, that fish is whole. Like
I
the head,
know.
the eyes, everything is still on it.
Yes, that's I was a little freaked out, but I'm like, you know what? It tastes good. I'm just gonna not look. It's fine.
Good for you. He won't touch it. So good for you for eating it.
Yes. But
That's
oh
funny.
wow. That's awesome. So you had I don't know how to even get into this. This is my second
I
interview,
know.
sorry.
Your
But
second interview. Oh my gosh.
yes, yeah, this is like season 2, so I'm starting off doing like interviews trying to get different testimonies on here.
Oh,
So
okay. Because when I looked before, it was you alone on camera, and you would do like little Bible study.
yeah, yes. Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of working through yes, I am honored. I am yes. Um, so I would love to hear about, so first of all, your life, like just tell me about you. I know that's a loaded question, but
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
your story.
yeah. So, like I said, I was born into a biracial home. My father was in the Air Force, and
Hmm.
so he met my mom. Like he would go to Korea to train for the Vietnam War.
Hmm.
And so that's how they met. And
Aw.
so I have one brother, and he's 18 months younger than I am.
Hmm.
And he lives out in Huntsville, Alabama. So we grew up Air Force brats. We grew up overseas a lot in
Yep.
Korea. We did live stateside for a while, but most of our growing up years, I would say from fifth grade for me until I graduated from high school, was in
Hmm.
England.
Oh wow.
My dad was stationed in England, and so we had a great time. I
Yeah.
mean, living overseas and getting to travel, and the high school there was a, Department of Defense dependent school, so it's kind of smaller than a traditional high school here in the States. But we had all the sports, we had all the extracurricular activities, and so
Yeah.
we really did have a great childhood
Hmm.
in growing up in that military community.
Yeah.
So then I decided to go to college at Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And I went
That's
in as
quite a change
pre-med.
from England,
Yeah,
probably.
a huge change.
Yeah.
A huge change. But a couple of our friends from England had gone to ORU.
Aw.
And so, back then, you didn't have you didn't have YouTube, you didn't have ways to see the schools,
Yep.
and we weren't going to do college visits from England.
Right.
So we just kind of went by word of mouth, like, where are
Right. Had
people
to trust what,
going? And
yeah.
yeah, and it was a Christian school, and so that attracted me.
Yes, for sure.
And so I went, and then I say we because my brother followed the year
Hmm.
after, and so we both went to ORU, and I started pre-med. And then my sophomore year, I was sitting in chapel on a Wednesday,
Hmm.
and I just something in my heart was like, you're not supposed to be a doctor. Like,
Hmm.
because of my personality, and because I knew myself at the time, that if I had become a physician, I would have married medicine.
Yep.
I
Yep.
just would have been all in on that, which isn't bad. But
Right.
I don't think I had the capacity to be a present mother and a
Yep.
wife, if that,
Yes,
because
absolutely. That
I wanted to
absolutely
be
resonates
married.
with me. Yes, yeah. That's how
Yeah.
I was even with law. Like there's no perspective anything, but for me it was more of also not being able to put my all into it, but if I
Yes.
could, that I was trying to play God. And same
Right.
for me. I changed my major like 300 times, but I went in for psychiatry, and so I was
Yeah.
pre-med at first, but it wasn't because of like something deeper that I changed. It was just because I sucked at biology. So
Well, I
I,
sucked at biology too.
yeah. But,
It's like I end
yeah.
up being a nurse, but I hated science and math. But God will use anything.
Yes. Yeah. He truly will. Yes. That's amazing. Absolutely.
So, in that, I just started praying, and I just asked God to send me mentors and people with wisdom to just help me like figure out what am I supposed to do, and that's where nursing came in.
Yeah.
And so I started nursing school and graduated, and so I worked in Tulsa for about a year at the local
Mhm.
hospital. But I just couldn't imagine waking up to the same job and the same people every day.
Right.
And I was a military brat, so I was just used to moving every few years.
Yeah, the excitement, the newness. Yeah.
Yes, new
Hmm.
friends, new environment.
For
And so I
sure.
found myself at the Air Force recruiter's office and I signed up. I
Yeah.
signed up to be in the Air Force. And
Yeah.
the Air Force, because my dad was in the Air Force and I
Of
was very
course.
comfortable with that
Yeah.
lifestyle. And so I started in Biloxi, Mississippi at Keesler Air Force Base.
Okay.
And I started on a little med surge floor, but I was like, I want to do something more high adrenaline, like either ER or ICU or something.
Uh-huh.
And so I eventually did get placed in the ICU and they trained me there. And
Wow.
then from there, I was asked to go train to be a CCAT nurse. And
Uh-huh.
so a CCAT nurse is a critical care air transport nurse. And so what that is in wartime situations, I would be teamed up with a doctor, like an intensivist
Hmm.
type doctor, like a pulmonologist
Hmm.
or an anesthesiologist, and then a critical care nurse and a respiratory therapist.
Wow.
And the three of us would be equipped to set up little mini ICUs in any aircraft that was available to us. So
Yeah.
the idea was to bring ICU level care closer to the front lines for our troops.
Uh-huh.
So they didn't have to wait so long
Absolutely.
to get
Yeah.
that
I
level
mean,
of care.
yeah, if they have like a leg injury. I mean, I had a friend,
Exactly.
I dated someone in the military, and our one of
Mm.
our friends, he was just overseas training, and when falling,
Oh.
like doing the jumping out of the airplanes or whatever,
Ooh.
he broke his legs. So I understand why
Ugh.
you would need immediate attention
Those
there.
guys, they're amazing.
Yeah, they
Um,
are. Hmm.
Yeah, so we trained for that, and we used it in peacetime, like to transport ICU patients from one hospital to another. Like that was kind of our practice.
Uh-huh.
But then September 11th happened, and so that was wartime to test this out, like you know. And
Right.
so I deployed on a CCAT team for the war after 9/11, and that was just talking about it today feels like it was a different life.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a long time ago, but the honor of my life to be
Wow.
able to care for our troops and
Yes.
to do everything we could to get them home.
Yeah.
And so I did that. I served over on a couple deployments, and then I got married to my husband John, and we wanted to have children.
Mhm.
And I saw so many of my friends, male and female, have to leave their kids when we got deployed, and that just ripped my heart out. It was so hard to watch
Right.
them be away from their children, especially the babies and the young ones that didn't
Right.
understand. So I decided to separate from the military.
Uh-huh.
And so in 2003, I just did the reserves for a couple years.
Hmm.
And we were in California at the time.
Hmm.
And we decided to move up here to Oregon because my husband comes from a big fat Greek family.
Oh, yes. Heck yeah, that's awesome.
So we wanted to raise our kids around family. And
Yeah, for sure.
I loved Oregon. I thought it was beautiful.
Hmm.
So I thought it'd be great to live up here. And
Yeah,
so this is where we've
Oregon is
been for over
beautiful.
20 years. Yeah. Have you
Aw.
been here? Have you been to
Yes.
Oregon?
Yes, whenever I lived in Seattle, we had
Oh,
driven up
yeah.
like through San Francisco and
Yes.
Portland and in that area. So yeah,
Yes. Yeah. The Pacific Northwest really is so beautiful.
it is stunning.
It has everything, right? Like it has high
Yeah.
desert, it has ocean, it has mountains.
Right. Yeah, you can do whatever you want to do. The beach
Yeah.
today and the
Yeah.
mountains tomorrow with the coat.
Yep. It's just like a couple hours away, from
Yeah.
each other. So
Yeah.
we really enjoyed raising. We have two sons. They're
Hmm.
21 and 19,
Hmm.
both in college, and it's just a lot of fun raising them here around community and family.
Yeah.
And so I did, after getting out of the military, moving up here, I noticed that I was burnt out of the
Yeah.
ICU scene.
Uh-huh.
It was just, and I think being deployed, it was just a lot. And so I thought, okay, maybe I need a break from the ICU.
Hmm.
So I just started interviewing for various jobs, and with no plan in my head, which is exactly how God always works.
Always.
Always like, surprise.
Yep, yep.
I went to an interview and I was very honest with the interviewer.
Yeah.
And I said to her, I said, I just want to be really honest. I'm here for interview practice because when I was in the military, you didn't really interview for jobs. You were assigned.
Yeah.
You were assigned to
Right.
positions. And so you
Yeah.
didn't really interview. So I didn't really have a lot of interviewing
True. Yeah, I
experience.
didn't think about that, how that would
Yeah.
affect that. Yeah.
So I said, I'm here to practice interviewing skills. I really have, and it was for a hospice job. I
Uh-huh.
said, I've never done hospice. I'm an ICU nurse by training,
Mhm.
some flight. And she was just so intuitive. And she's just like, I think you'd be a great hospice nurse. And I thought,
Aw.
I don't know, that's intense. Like, that seems
Right.
intense to me. But then I would think about the ICU patients that I would gravitate towards, and it were the ones that were at end of life.
Yeah,
Like there was just something about them that I felt like holding that space was holy.
it
It was like
is.
a holy work and a sacred work.
Absolutely.
And she saw that in me. And so I said, oh, well, I don't have another job, so I'll take this one. I'll get trained and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, I did that for 15 years. I loved it.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. I bet.
I
Yeah.
loved it. It was
It's such an
so,
intimate time. Like I
oh,
remember when my mama was passing that, and they would call
mm,
hospice in and stuff, but
mm-hmm.
she wanted me in the room when she passed, and it was
Yeah.
just to be even a kid at that time, like to
Mm-hmm.
fathom. I couldn't really understand death, and it took me like 10
Yeah.
years at that point because I
Yeah.
was so young to like
Yeah.
just fully process
Yeah.
what death was, because it's like my mama's still here but I can't go to her, like it
Yeah.
just it's but yeah, I definitely understand the intimacy of those
Yeah.
moments and like
Oh,
caring for people, making sure their mental
they're
state is
comfortable and
not, yeah,
yeah.
because I know
Yeah.
even just a couple weeks ago, like I had mentioned earlier, I was getting to the point where I was having some serious doubts that were
Mm-hmm.
fearsome to me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I had called for the chaplain at the
Yeah.
church, or not the church, at the hospital, to come
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
speak with me, because I was like, look, I'm suffering, and
Yes.
I know that we can suffer, but what if I'm suffering for evil? Like I was just having lots of doubts, so I kind of laid out myself and my life and my,
So
my
good.
heart.
So
And
good.
he, in the next couple of days, brought me back this sheet that had a
Mm.
list of like reminders, like you are who you are in Christ, and there was like
Mm.
beloved, like it was so good, the righteousness of Christ, and like pillars of
God
my
sent you
faith.
the right
Yes,
person to
absolutely.
get his message into your ear, to
Absolutely.
hear, how what God thinks of us,
Yes.
in those times. And yeah, those moments were precious, and it was such an honor to be in that really intimate time. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a very sacred time for families and the person that's passing. And
That's
so
it.
yes, that career choice fed me. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it just fed me and it filled me up, and I loved it. And during that time, I got my master's degree in nursing leadership.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I was able to become a nurse manager for the hospice nurses.
Oh,
And
cool.
that was even more precious to me,
Right.
to just really pour into those women and men who would go into these homes and just make
Right.
sure they had everything they need, you
Right.
know?
And then you have your a separate type of freedom then at that point too, to be able to spend time with your
Yes,
family and care for
that's
them
right.
and build your home. So, which
That's
is always
right.
important too.
So God always provided these jobs that were perfect for me being
Yeah.
able to attend to my family's needs and my
Yeah.
need as a mom and as a wife, but
Yes.
still hang on to my license,
Yes.
which in Oregon, you have to work to keep your license. You can't do it through CEUs,
Mm,
doing classes. You have
you're
to
right.
work. You have to have working hours. And so it was always a little balancing act, but God always came through,
Right.
and I had that hospice job that was so flexible with me, and so
That's
I
amazing.
appreciated that. And then in 2019,
Hmm.
I suffered two brain injuries 6 months apart, and one was from a fall, and then the second one was a car accident, and it undid me. It undid me. It just I had to retire my nursing license.
Mhm.
I felt like I couldn't safely practice.
I
My
know exactly what you mean.
cognitive,
It
yeah,
was too fuzzy. You're not present.
yes,
You're not there.
yes.
One of the things that stood out to me most, Cheri, I was about to call you Cheri again,
It's
forgive me.
okay.
One of the things that stood out to me the most was how you said you were so used to caring for other
Mm,
people, being the
yes,
caregiver, and
yes,
then needing to be given care too. Like, that's profound because it's a hard thing to transition
yes.
into.
Oh,
So explain sorry, how was like that season, like the difficultness of that season? How did you transition? And was your husband supportive? And you
oh.
know,
If my husband wasn't who he is, I don't think I would have made it.
right.
Just psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. He was amazing.
Praise God. Yeah.
He's my saint.
Yeah.
God just empowered him, because being a caregiver to someone who, I had a lot of ego around
Right.
my abilities as a nurse and
Yeah.
as a very capable mother and as a leader and as a
Yes.
woman. I was very confident. Yes,
Accomplished and rightfully
yes,
so. Yes. Yeah,
yes.
and
So,
still rightfully so, but yes.
and so just into the doing,
Mm-hmm.
what I can do for my
Yes.
community, for my children, for you, whatever. And to go from that to him having to walk me everywhere, him having to communicate for me at times,
Yeah.
him trying to have a conversation with me where my cognitive skills were not good.
And you
And
were unable to communicate. Yeah.
yeah, we're just so frustrated because
Yeah.
I know I want to say something, but I couldn't. And
Mm-hmm.
so God just granted him so much patience and grace.
Yes.
And I believe anointed him to be exactly what I needed, because there was never judgment. There was never frustration towards me. He always was just so empathetic. He was so
Absolutely.
empathetic, and he would just sit in that with me, and we would cry. For 4 years, we cried because we just couldn't understand why God would allow something like this to happen to me. And transitioning from being the caregiver and the carer to being cared for is a crucifixion of your pride.
Whew.
It's a
I'm gonna let that
crucifixion of
sit.
your
That's
pride.
true. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
That's
had to learn to lean into humility and
mm-hmm.
accepting that I needed help and
Yep.
I needed people. I couldn't do this alone.
Mm-hmm.
And so being the person that everyone always called in the past when they needed help,
Right.
to
And now that
now I'm having to call and ask for help.
right.
That was like swimming upstream. It was so painful for me.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Did you lose any friends or people in your life during that time because they were kind of like you were their rock, and now
Yeah.
like maybe they weren't able to get, or did you have better discernment probably to begin with as to not?
I think I was blessed with really good friends,
Mm-hmm.
to begin with. What I saw, I guess my perspective wasn't who fell away, because people did fall away that maybe weren't very close, just felt uncomfortable.
Right.
How do we navigate this?
Right.
Um, but the people that were close to me and that were in my tribe and in my circle, I just saw how much they loved me,
Right.
like how much they leaned in and said, yeah, this is uncomfortable, this is really awkward, we don't know how to handle this, this feels very different in our in our interactions with each other and in our friendship.
Right.
But they leaned into it and they
That's
sat in it with
amazing.
us.
So
And
you had better friends than Job then.
what's that?
You had better friends than Job.
Yeah, yes. Thank
Yeah.
God. Thank God. God bless Job.
Yeah. Truly,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, his faith and his he just didn't let go. Like he
Right.
just
One of my
I would have let
favorite,
go.
he didn't. No. Have you ever listened to Pastor Matt Chandler?
Yes.
Okay, so he at one point says, oh my, he jokes that he's like, when his wife says curse God,
Yeah.
and die or whatever,
Yeah.
And yeah, apparently Matt Chandler said, he's like, at that point I would have been asking, where's the dog? Like, can I keep one of those mules? Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. Because you just get into this mode of like, well, what am I left with?
Right.
What am I left with? And
Yeah.
that's where I was. I was like,
Hmm.
I'm not left with much because everything that I thought brought me value in this
Yeah.
earth is gone. Like
Yeah.
I can't take care of anyone. I can't take care of myself even right now. And
Yeah.
my children are teenagers and they're boys and they're having to take care of me. Like, and the pandemic happened. And so that
Yeah.
was just crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but God just allowed that time to be a time of just reinforcement for our family.
Yes.
Because I said, listen, guys, I don't know what's ahead. I
Yep.
mean, our financial future was, the plan was for me to work and be a nurse and make pretty good money and help
Right.
with college. Well, that's all gone.
Right.
We didn't have that. And so I just said, guys, we don't know what's coming.
Hmm.
All I know is that God has got to be in this. He's
Yep.
got to. And if I don't find him in it, I'm lost. I will be
Right.
lost.
I think he
And
is with you in
so,
it.
oh,
Yeah.
he was totally in
Yeah.
every moment, because I was able to in sitting in that darkness because I did fall into depression and anxiety.
Oh yeah.
I did
Hmm.
have moments where I told my husband, please hide the firearms in our home.
Oh yeah.
I can't. I
Hmm.
I don't trust myself because
Yep.
sometimes I'm so much in pain that
Yes.
it seems like a plausible thing.
I know exactly what you're saying. Yep.
And it's terrifying to think that your mind
It
would go there because we love life.
it
We know
is.
that life is a gift.
Yeah, and that we have so many blessings around us, but because of this dark cloud of depression, you're only able
Yes.
to see that. And that's what's so
Ugh.
frustrating about it, too. I think that kind of plays into the anxiety because you're like,
Yes.
I have so much in my life that I
Yes.
truly am in my heart grateful for.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's why it resonates the psalm where he says, why are you cast down, oh my soul, praise God? Because,
Yeah.
when you're in the pit like that, it's just like, come on now, like we've got more
Yeah.
than that,
Yeah. And then you
but
judge yourself and you're hard on
yep,
yourself. Like, what is
yep,
wrong with you? Like, come
right,
on.
like
You have this
muster up the
amazing
faith.
husband. You have
Yeah.
healthy children. You're living in a home that keeps you warm and
Hmm.
sheltered. You have food. Like, come on. Like,
And then
snap out of
people, right,
it.
and people telling you that too can
Yes.
also, like, yeah, because sometimes I feel, and maybe that's just a subconscious thing or like an internal thought that, like, oh, they probably think X, Y, and
Yeah.
Z, but
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the phase where I'm trying to break free from it, but definitely
Yeah.
worrying about what others think.
Yes.
However, there
Yes.
is, I do like to note though, whenever I talk about that, is like the appearance of evil, because I think
Mm.
Paul instructs us to
Hmm.
not do things that have the appearance of evil, so in some aspect I do think we should care what people think, and like, not just like just all be like, oh, everything I think is, right, because at what point
Yeah.
then are you, foolish? There's,
Yeah. And I think
wisdom
that
and
there's time for that,
yeah, for sure,
to consider how your behavior is interpreted by others because we are witnesses for Christ, right?
for sure.
But there is also a time to not give a damn about that
That's absolutely true.
and just lean into Jesus and say,
talk
Jesus, you know how I feel.
talk
You
about that.
know that I am not a bright and shiny person right now,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
so just being able to cry out in those moments and just say, I can't do this.
Yep.
I can't
I
do this.
When I was reading over your biography on the
Hmm.
page, I kind of what I gathered most from it was like you're kind of like a Martha turned Mary, and I feel somewhat similar, like
Mm,
very much like,
yeah.
and I'm not saying like worry strategy, but just
Yeah.
like check the boxes, like do
Yep.
all this, do the
Yep.
things. And
Yep.
Mary's more, I'm sitting at the feet of Jesus. And
In
so,
awe. She's just
right.
in awe,
Yep.
just in the
Yep.
moment.
Absolutely. And it's
And
so
here's
peaceful.
how much God loves me. He allowed the brain injury to be on the left side of my brain, which
Uh-huh.
is where performance and
All of
structure and all of that lives. And so that kind of went away, and that's why I fell into depression, because I'm like, I don't know how to do that anymore. Like, what do I do?
right.
And so the
Yep.
doctors are like, you got to get into the right side of your brain. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. I don't think I've ever lived. Maybe the only thing that's lived in the right side of my brain in my life was my spirituality, because
Yes.
that's right-sided, right? And
Yeah.
so I knew I had a right side
Uh-huh.
because I've always loved God and I've always had a relationship with Christ. And so I
Right.
knew it was there, but I never lived in it in my practical life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that didn't come out. And so that's where painting came in.
Yes.
I did not do artsy, craftsy things ever
Mm-hmm.
in my life. I was just very science minded, very research minded,
Yeah.
fact minded. Um, and then when they said you have to do something with the right side, I over a series of events, I fell into painting and
Mm-hmm.
painting on large canvases. Um,
Yes.
and Alex, I'm telling you, when I fell into understanding what creativity was, because God is a creator, he's
Yes.
the ultimate creator. And so we are too, because we're made in his image.
Imago
I
Dei.
never, I never, I mean, I knew that in my head, I understood it. I'd heard it in the word of God and in church.
Yes.
But I didn't know what that felt like to be a
Yeah.
creator.
Yeah.
And so when I started, I do, it's called intuitive abstract painting.
Okay.
I never know what is going to end up on the canvas. When I approach a blank canvas,
Same.
it nothing. I have no idea,
Same.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Then you get the downloads.
Yes.
You get into flow,
Uh-huh.
and that takes a relationship with your intuition,
Absolutely.
and that's a relationship that you have to put time into,
Yes.
learning how to trust your intuition. We can't trust another person
No.
unless we spend time with them
Right. Yeah.
and invest in that
Yep.
relationship. And that's what I found was, oh, I need to do that with me. Like,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
need to
Know myself.
learn,
Yeah.
yes, know myself. And then when I trusted myself to go into that place and to get into
Hmm.
flow, that's where the divine comes in. That's where
Right.
God is like, okay, I'm going to
Here we.
flow through you. You're a vessel. That's
Yes.
when the
Yep.
whole vessel, we've heard about it all our lives. We are vessels. We are the clay
Ooh.
pots. He is the potter. I know it.
Yep.
I know it. But I never
And
felt it.
you felt it in your
Oh.
yep, felt it in your soul.
And
Yes.
I was a cracked pot. Like,
Yeah.
I was broken.
Right.
But he
He
still
fills them
flows
with
through me
gold.
because, Alex, how does
Yes.
this, how? It's not
Well,
from me. It's not
no.
me thinking, oh, this would be a great composition. This would be great
Yes.
colors. No, I don't
Ex-
have that.
exactly. Yep. I love it. I can see what it is. There's sorrow, there's light and the darkness that covers all of it.
Absolutely.
And I just
Absolutely.
see it everywhere. I see the pot, I see a waterfall. It's gorgeous. Like I'm just that would
And
be it.
so you have the same experience with
Yes,
your
yeah.
art.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. One second. I'm gonna grab one really quick.
Yeah.
It's in the
Yes.
hallway. Um, so I actually just finished this piece here, but let me make sure I have it right. So it's kind of like a two-piece, and again, started
Okay.
it with no like concept, but it's like
Oh,
this.
look at
So it's
that.
kind of, and then I have these spaces right here for Psalm 23. He leads me beside still water. He makes me lie down in green
Oh,
pastures, and he leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. But I
that is
love like the detail on.
beautiful. And look,
Yeah. Yep.
the broken
Yep.
flower in the middle. Oh,
Yeah. I
so
love it.
good, Alex. So
Thank
good. I
you.
love that. I
And it,
love that.
because it reminded me of either Zechariah or Revelation, where I think, um, yeah, there's like the two olive trees and they branch over and over the river that, and
Oh,
people can use the flowers for food or healing or
Oh
something. But
my
yeah,
goodness.
so
Just
I'm
how
like,
God
this
always
is,
provides.
yeah,
Always provides.
yep.
And there's something that I don't know if it's a Buddhist saying or something, but
Uh-huh.
when I heard it, it resonated so much in me is that when the student is ready, the teachers appear.
Yep.
And
That's
that
so
is
true.
so true.
Yep.
It is so true. God just sends, He assigns the
Mm-hmm.
right people into our
Yeah.
lives for when we're ready. Because, like we said, we could hear a verse our whole lives. Like one verse that just I clung to and I still cling to, it shows up in my art all the time,
Yes.
is Romans 8:28. And I'll tell you why.
Woo.
It's, I was in the ambulance after the car accident and
Mm-hmm.
I realized I couldn't talk and I couldn't walk. I was terrified. Like, what is happening? And the paramedic, he was an older paramedic. He was maybe in his 50s, maybe
Uh-huh.
early 60s, an older paramedic.
Mm-hmm.
He was so calm. And he said, he leaned in, and I was crying and crying. And he leaned in and he said, Cheri, God is not done with you yet. Romans 8:28. He goes, don't ever forget it, Romans 8:28. And in the moment, I was like, what? Like, get out of my
Yeah.
ear. Like,
Get out.
that's
Stop
not
it.
helping me. Give me some medicine to help me
Right.
talk.
Yeah. Yeah, give me a shot first and I'll talk about it.
But then after
Yes, after.
I
Yeah.
remembered that whispering. I was like, wait, he said God was not done with me yet. And
That's
that I needed to lean on Romans 8:28. And I was like,
I'm getting
all things work together for good. All things.
that was
Even this
on.
awful thing.
Yes, that was on the sheet that they gave me with the list of all of the
Oh,
that the
of
chaplain
course
gave
it
me.
was. Of
Yes.
course it
Yeah. That's why
was.
I'm like I have chills right
Yeah.
now because that verse is one
Yeah.
of my anchoring ones. That and
Yes.
neither depth nor height or angels or
Oh, will
things seen or
separate us
unseen.
from the
Yep.
love. Oh, that's so
Right.
true. He loves
Yes.
us so much. And I'll tell you another little story that where God showed me his his deep love, but God's love can also be very painful
For
because of
sure.
how deep it is. In 2023,
Mhm.
my father and mother live in the neighborhood here. They moved here about 8 years ago.
Mhm.
And my dad and I I was a daddy's girl,
Mhm.
and he loved fishing. And so he
Yeah.
would go up to the Washington coast, and he and my mom loved to RV. And
Uh-huh.
so they went RVing and he went fishing.
Yeah.
And so it was September, and he and I were kind of texting back and forth, talking about, because he's like, you should have a business, you should sell your art. And at
Yeah.
the time, some friends and family were telling me, you should really think about selling your art. And I thought, my art is just my therapy. Like, it's just healing me. It's
Yep.
keeping me alive.
I
Like, it's
want them
my
on my
only thing.
walls.
Yeah, it's like, it's just for me. Like, it's
Yeah.
what's helping me connect back to God and myself and the world. And but they were like,
Absolutely.
but you're getting better at it. Like, I think maybe you should consider. So we were kind of throwing the idea around. So my dad and I were texting back and forth, like logo ideas and
Yeah.
business name ideas. And so on that Sunday night, he liked my little logo idea.
Aw.
And so Monday morning, he had out fishing, and this trigger warning, he's killed. He's
Oh.
killed on the jetty. A sneaker wave came, killed him, and he was lost to sea. The Coast Guard and the sheriff's department were out with boats and helicopters looking for him, and they couldn't find him. It's very rough waters there in that part.
Mm.
And so I was trying to get to my mom, obviously, when she's like, he's missing, we don't know what happened. And so I was trying to get to her, and long story short, my mom was waiting for me to arrive, and she just heard my dad calling in her heart, like, I'm coming back, I'm coming back. And she's like, okay, he must be alive. Like, he's got to be. And so she started running to the water, and they had left a chaplain from the police department with her
Mhm.
to wait until I got there.
Mhm.
And she ran into the water, or towards the water, and she could see my dad swimming, like his arms were swimming. She's like, oh my gosh, it's been 7 hours, but he survived. He survived. And so she ran into the water. My mom does not know how to swim. So
Yeah.
the police officer pulls her back. He said, Jeannie, it's dangerous. Let me go. I'll go help
Uh-huh.
him. And so she went back on the beach and she was looking and saying, he's right there, he's right there. And when she was looking, she realized that it wasn't his arms swimming. Two sea lions had him by each arm, and they were swimming him back. And they pushed him into the surf right to my mom's feet. Like crazy. Even the creatures
Wow.
of the earth know the voice of God.
Ooh, my dad said
Even,
that yesterday. That'll preach, girl. Ooh,
I mean,
that's
as
is he
awful and
was no, I'm sorry. I'm
no,
sorry.
he was dead. He was dead.
Yes,
But
I'm sorry.
the thank you. But we know where he is.
Yes, that's, I mean, seriously. I mean,
Yeah. But for the sea
wow.
lions, and I asked some people that were like marine biologists, I'm like, is that a thing? And they're like, yeah, sea lions and seals and some creatures, they'll realize something's not right in their environment and they'll try to make it right. And so
Wow.
you'll hear about people who were drowning or something, and a sea lion will come by and just keep their head above water.
Uh,
So I started researching all these stories
yeah, of
about sea
course.
lions because I'm like, no, I love sea lions.
Yes, that would be like my, oh my gosh, that would be my
Yeah,
favorite animal.
yeah.
Have you
So
painted?
I
Have
did.
you tried?
So we came back. We brought my dad's body back here, and then that week was chaos because people were flying in from Korea, from New York City, like from
Mm,
everywhere for
right.
the funeral. And I needed, like, it was like 2 or 3 days after my dad had died, and I just needed a moment. I just needed some silence. And so I asked my husband and my sons, I said, guys, I just need to be in my studio for a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
I have to disconnect for a little bit. And they're like, absolutely. So they like stood guard, made sure nobody bothered
Yeah.
me.
Aw.
And in 3 hours, I painted. And I was literally, Alex, I was throwing paint. I was so angry. I was just smashing paint into the canvas. I was throwing paint. I was scribbling. Um, and I got tired and I stepped back because I don't paint animals. Like, I don't know how to paint
Uh-huh.
animals or anything like that. And I stepped back and I could see the outline of a sea lion. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And
Yeah,
so
sometimes you
I
just look up
finished
during
it.
that and you're like, okay.
Yes. You're like, oh, that's obvious
Yep, yep.
without even trying. And so
Right.
I did finish that piece. And so that
Aw.
entire piece was painted in 3 hours. But I just
Wow.
know
The
it was
hand of
from
God
God.
was working through you. Yes,
Yeah.
vessels, as
And
you said. Yeah.
it comforted me so much. And, as traumatic and awful it was to lose my dad, um, God just brought that grace,
Yeah.
even in our pain. And
Mm.
God found that it was his time for
Yeah.
whatever reason. It was my dad's
Mhm.
perfect time.
Yeah.
And so he's with God, and I couldn't be happier for him because
Right. Yes.
that's
Yeah.
that's peace, that's
Yeah.
freedom, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But we miss him.
I,
Obviously, I miss him so
yeah,
much,
for
but
sure.
God
I'm
meets
ready
us
for
where
death.
we are.
He does. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was gonna say,
No.
missing people is something that I I'm just ready for death to be defeated. Like the whole Maranatha,
Mm,
come Jesus come. I
yeah.
Death can be, I mean, I feel like I've been kind of weathered quite a bit
Mm-hmm.
over the years. My parents were quite older when they had me, so my grandparents are all gone now at this point, but
Right.
yeah, so, and like certain relatives like aunts and uncles and stuff, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so it definitely takes a toll on you, but I think after a while I'm just ready for death to be defeated along with sickness and all the
I
things, but
know.
I
But
love
with
that through
Jesus,
the
when
Holy
he,
Spirit, yes, we can
yes,
experience his joy here through
yes,
it. Yeah,
yes,
for
because he
sure.
defeated death, right? He
He
defeated death
did.
on our behalf. And so, on earth as it is in heaven,
Right. Yeah.
it's living that. And only through him can we experience that, because in our
Right.
flesh, we would be crushed. We would be
Absolutely. Yeah.
crushed. And so it's
That's
that's
so
why I say
wise. Yeah.
God's love is expensive.
Yeah.
It's free, right? It's free. Anyone.
Right.
It's
Mm-hmm.
available to all. But to
Yeah.
walk with him in love is expensive because
For
we have to
sure.
crucify ourselves. We
For
have to
sure.
die to ourselves. And I think
Absolutely.
my brain injury was a physical dying to myself
Yeah.
because I literally felt like I was mourning me while I was still alive.
Yeah.
Like I was still mourning me,
Yeah.
who I was, and
Right. You're like,
healing to
that person is
me.
dead to you. Like I
Yeah.
said that the other day. I was like, whoever you knew, the Alex you knew 5 years ago, that is not who you know now. Like that is
Yeah.
not me. It never will be me. So
Yeah.
just like we gotta accept this
Yeah.
new.
And I
And
was naive enough to think, well, the old me was pretty good. Like,
me too.
man, I thought, and how
Yes.
I couldn't have imagined how
Yep.
life is now.
Yep.
In a million years, I couldn't imagine how amazing life is for me now,
Yeah.
and how much joy and how much peace and how much I
Mhm.
don't care.
Right, like worrying about those little bitty things like that
Yes.
I used to like
Yes.
just like pretty much
Obsess.
everyone else's opinions, and like,
Yes.
am I doing
Yes.
enough? Am I on top here? Like, and it's
It's
not
so
the way.
exhausting. It's so
Yeah.
exhausting.
Yeah.
And
Now,
how can
spiritually, I'll get in the
we?
race though. Spiritually, I'm like, okay, I saw that. I'm
Yeah,
copying it.
exactly. But how can we be available to minister to others when we're so
Right.
caught up in what people think about us or what we should be doing and what's right,
Right.
what's wrong?
That's
It's
part of
just
the
being
guilt.
present.
Yeah. And that can be some of the guilt too. I'm sure that you have experienced with needing to be given care too, because
Absolutely.
it is more blessed to give than receive. I have
Oh,
that written on one of my sticky notes, and I'm like, well, I have love to give
and
in a
that's what it
different
is.
way.
What do we really have to give?
Yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
our love. He
Yeah.
said, above all else, love one
Yep.
another. If you
Absolutely.
can't do a darn other thing, love.
Do that. Yeah.
And even when I was so broken and so sad and so, just I felt so like what's the word? Um betrayed,
Yeah.
that even then I could love.
Yeah.
You had to choose it. You had to
Yeah.
choose it, but you could,
Yeah.
even in if it's loving my teenage boys through my gratitude
Mm-hmm.
for them and
Yeah.
showing them how proud I was that they were able to step outside of their teenage self-centeredness and
Mm-hmm.
take care of their
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I'm sure
that's
you're raising great men of God in doing so.
well, God is raising great men of God.
For sure. Yes, yes, yes. That's absolutely right.
I
Yep.
think I mess up so
Yes.
much, but
Yes.
he did give us stewardship over them. And so
Yes.
our prayers are, we want them above all else to just experience the peace of God in their life.
Yeah.
And I took so long to understand God's what God has for us
Yeah.
because I kept getting in the way. I just kept
Yeah.
getting in my own
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, literally
God's like,
trying to play his
really?
role. Yeah. Mhm.
And
And
he
then
will
just
let us.
yeah,
He will let us.
he will. And then be like, "Okay, this is how you wanted this to turn out. Now we're going to
Yeah.
shift gears."
So I have a
But
better plan, but if you're
exactly.
still in that, I'll let you hang out in that for a while.
Right. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think he's got me on the right track right now. So you're like so inspiring. You have so much wisdom, and
Oh,
like I can tell you're full of the Holy Spirit. I feel the presence right now.
oh, thank
So yeah.
God. I mean, thank
Yeah.
God, because because he is gracious and he
Mhm.
is a gentleman, the Holy Spirit is a gentleman.
Yeah.
He won't force himself on you.
Right.
He won't. It's just an invitation.
Yeah.
It's an invitation that we have to make.
Hmm.
We invite the Holy Spirit into our home all the time because we can tell when he's like, I'm out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. There's chaos
Like,
everywhere.
yeah, you guys are not choosing me.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I'm out.
Yeah.
So you invite him back in and say, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. So
Exactly.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the longer you walk with the Lord and the more intense your journey is, you've had an intense journey,
Right.
it just becomes
Deep.
innate.
Yep. Yeah. That's how I describe it. Like I'd seen on my I had seen, I don't know. I saw it on my little outline thing that I sent you, but it was like, maybe welcome in prayer or something. I was like, I don't feel
Oh,
comfortable praying because I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like living on a prayer. We're talking,
Oh,
walking the prayer, you know?
Alex, this entire conversation is a prayer.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That whole pray without ceasing,
Yeah.
that's not us holed up in our rooms on our knees.
Nope. Nope.
Sometimes it is that, but
Yeah.
most of the time, because God knows us and we're not monks and
Yeah.
nuns, you
Yeah.
know, this is a prayer. Our life
Right.
is pray without ceasing, like
Yep,
giving
for sure.
glory to Him and calling upon Him.
Amen.
There's that one little book. Oh, I'm not remembering her name, but it's this little book called Help Thanks Wow. Have you heard of it?
Okay. No?
It's this little book where this lady talks about prayer and how every prayer is either help, thanks, or wow.
I need to write that down. I'm gonna do
Yeah,
that after
it's
this.
a little. I'm trying to remember her. I don't remember. She's a famous author. I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay.
she's written a lot of books, but it's so true. Like our prayers are help, thanks,
Yep.
or wow.
It is true. Yeah. That is very, very to the point. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And so I just think our prayer, our lives are prayer, and
Yeah.
our connection and
Hmm.
interacting with others.
Yeah.
That's a prayer. Like one of my prayers is always on my lips is Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, in any situation, that just means your will be done, your grace be upon
Thy
this.
will be
I
done.
need your
Absolutely.
mercy,
Yeah.
because I can't do this without you. I can't do it
Absolutely.
without you. And when I try, it fails every single time, 100% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just
Same.
doesn't resonate,
No. And I think when
It
you keep
doesn't.
like fighting or kind of wrestling with God at some point, you start to realize like what that wrestle is. And it's like, okay, this is what's been going on for this long. I get it now.
Okay.
Yeah, I
It took me a
surrender.
while.
Yeah. White flag up. I'm done.
And then you know what is crazy is we surrender and then
Yeah.
we win.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
he gets us to win. Like we win in
Yes.
life, we win in relationships, we
Yes.
win in decisions, and it's like, oh my
Exactly.
gosh, I just had to surrender.
Yes. As he carries me home. Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
Carries us
yes,
home
that
now.
whole prodigal son thing where the father runs to
Yeah.
the
And
to
clothes
the
him in the
son.
robe and gives him
Yes,
a
puts the
feast.
ring on his finger and
Yeah.
prepare the fatted calf. He's like, come on, we're
Yes.
partying. And that's
Yes.
what God does for us,
It is
that
every
we go
time. Yeah.
away and we sit in our sadness or our
Hmm.
despair. And those times are valuable. God uses
Hmm.
it all.
He does.
He uses all things at all
Mhm.
times.
He
And
does.
because we remember the darkness, we remember what that feels like. We
Yeah.
remember the brush with death. Like,
Hmm.
ooh, to think that death would be relief. Like,
Right.
wow,
Hmm.
when you can go that far to really believe that that could maybe bring relief in this life, and then to come back to God and
Yeah.
realize He's the relief,
Yep. Yeah.
He's
It
our
is.
breath,
Yeah.
you
True.
know.
Yeah.
But
I've had
that takes intention.
it does, and it takes ongoing repentance, I believe. You know,
Absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
it's hard. I'm definitely one of those progressive sanctification believers. Like
Yeah,
I mean, there have been some things like God has taken it away overnight for
yeah,
sure. Love
yeah.
those, but he doesn't, that's
No,
not that way for all of them. And I think that that's kind
no.
of where repentance comes into play for me. Cause it's like, you know,
Yes,
it's wrong. Like I do what I know is wrong, but I continue to
yeah,
do it type of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Paul.
But yeah, literally. Yeah. He's got the thorn in his side,
That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
But it
But
keeps us
that's our
humble.
relationship,
Yeah.
and it is. It's humility.
Mm-hmm.
Just like pride is the root of so many of our sins, just because of our
Abs.
pride and our ego. Humility is the salve.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Humility is what comes in. And so now if, a confrontation between anyone, like I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, I don't agree with that person or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also having lived over 50 years on earth,
Yeah.
that I don't see them and say, what's wrong with them? Because I used to be like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with them?
Right.
Their
And
their
now
thinking is so wrong. Now I'm like, why am I reacting? Like, it
Yes.
doesn't matter what they're thinking.
Yes,
They can think whatever
exactly.
they want to think.
Right.
But why am I reacting?
Yes, exactly. That's how I'm like, there's
Yeah.
something wrong with me. There's like, I've got to scope this out because I shouldn't be
Like, what
bothered
is
by
it?
this.
Yeah, exactly. But there's something in us that's like, well, you should be offended. You should be
Right,
upset. You should take that personally. And
right,
that's where our repentance lies and says, God, I do not need to carry that.
right,
That
right.
is not mine to carry.
No,
That is
that
not mine.
that's so gold what you just said there, like what is yours to carry? Because I do
Yeah.
think we are to help carry and bear one another's
Yes,
burdens, but
absolutely.
there are some that are
If
not
they're
ours.
if they're assigned
Assigned
to
to,
us.
yeah, for sure.
And we
Yeah,
will know, like the more we walk with him, the more intimate we are in our relationship with God, we will start to learn what that feels like when it's assignment. And I
yeah,
will say in my everyday life to my husband, like, that's not my assignment,
right.
or
I'm,
I don't think that's your assignment,
yeah, I need
because
someone like
you
you in
won't,
my life to tell me because
you have me.
thank you. Yes, because I'm like, I am tired of learning the hard way.
Yes.
He's teaching me the
Well,
hard way
but
on all this.
also from my perspective, look how young you are and that you're learning.
Yeah,
I didn't know these lessons when I was young. I was like, I love the Lord. I lived a good Christian life,
right.
but I didn't know that that's not where it's
The
at.
intimacy. Yeah. The
Yes.
intimacy was lacking.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't want to be a good Christian.
right.
I just
That's
want to be
how,
his
yeah.
child.
Yes,
I just want to
same.
know God.
Yeah,
I don't care what people label me. Like, oh,
yeah.
she's a good Christian. Well, good for you. You don't know me.
Right. Yeah. It's like I actually have quite a mouth on me. I can like go off a time
Exactly.
too.
Exactly.
Like
And
I
that's
need the
real.
Lord. Yeah.
And he's okay with it.
Yes, exactly.
He
Yeah.
won't judge
Resting in
me.
that.
He's just,
Mm,
yes, he's like,
yeah.
gosh, I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
here. Just
Yeah.
and one of my taglines in my art business is uh colliding with beauty is the
Uh-huh.
subtext. Is colliding with Carandanis fine art, colliding with beauty. And one of my taglines is from Dostoevsky, where he says, "Beauty will save the world." And
Hmm.
Dostoevsky was an Orthodox Christian, and we're Greek Orthodox. My husband's Greek, and so Greek
Oh,
Orthodox.
that's
And
awesome.
yeah, and beauty will save the world because
Yes.
God is in beauty. We have to look for the beauty
Yes.
in
God is
in
in
all
everything.
things.
Yeah.
Yes. Like
Yes.
one time we
Absolutely.
were watching, in Portland there were a lot of riots and stuff going on, and we were watching it on TV. It was probably like 2020, and the boys were there and they were like, "Oh my gosh, it's so scary, to see people so angry and hurting each other and
Yeah.
hurting buildings and
Yeah.
vandalizing things. Like that's a lot of feelings coming out." And I said,
Yes.
but look at the helpers. Like if you would look close, there were people helping people that were dehydrated or had things in their eyes, or
Yep.
there were helpers there
Yep.
and there was love.
Right.
And
And
that
sometimes
love,
just stepping out and seeing that.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the bigger
The
picture.
bigger. Yeah.
And that a lot of times people are so passionate because it comes from a place of being passionate about something and loving something, but it
Yeah.
just gets misdirected
Yes.
into
Absolutely.
anger and bitterness and
Yep.
hate,
Yeah.
which doesn't solve anything. But
Right.
it starts with love. Like
That.
they,
Yeah.
they they care about something.
Yeah.
Obviously, they care about something, and so looking for the beauty in all things is where I think we can find freedom, and that's where we find God in the tiniest little whispers, the
Absolutely.
glimmers that we
Yeah.
see. It's not going to always be sea lions bringing your dead father back to you. Like
Yeah.
it's hardly ever like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. But though it
And
is
sometimes
miraculous, though,
it's
like,
so that's
yeah.
like Old Testament
Yeah,
Bible story.
that is, yeah, it is. His story is, he's still writing his story. So,
He
yes.
totally is. And I'm
Yeah.
so happy to finally feel like I'm in his story and not
Yes.
mine.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, same.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's I mean, who would have thought? I would say I'm Cheri Carandanis. I'm a business owner. I'm a professional artist. What?
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. Cherie,
It's
that is
crazy. It is
your
crazy.
testimony is inspiring to me.
Mhm.
I hope this resonates with
Thank
people.
God.
Yeah.
Thank God. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so if there is like a message you hope that your story and art leave with people, with those who are struggling, what would that be?
That we were created for connection. We were never meant to be alone. We were
Mm-hmm.
never meant to go through this life alone.
Mm-hmm.
And so my paintings, you know, they're not always beautiful. Like, I don't want them to be beautiful paintings. I want them to ignite something in someone. When they see it, I want them to feel, gosh, that feels like sorrow, or that feels like redemption, or
Yeah.
that feels like process, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of connection. Because through my art, I can connect with people that I would have never imagined connecting to, maybe even people I'll never even meet, because they'll
Right.
see it online or they'll see it in a gallery and
Yeah.
they'll have that connection. But I know that every one of those connections is valuable to God, and it's
Yes.
valuable
Every
to us
single
as
one.
humans.
Yeah.
And so when we go through hard times, and in the darkest times,
Mm-hmm.
we have this tendency, and I think it's the enemy that just wants us to hole away. You know,
He
depression
does.
causes that in
He
us.
does. Yeah.
You know, we just want to lay in bed, put the covers over our head, not eat, not shower, not just lay
Yep.
there in our
Yep.
misery. And
Yep.
somehow that feels good. Like
Yeah.
some weird twisted way that feels
Yeah.
like this
It's
is
like, okay.
exactly what I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I'm just going to pout this whole day away, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have every right to, like, I have every
Right.
right to, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, depression is that powerful. It
It
will
is.
force you
It
on your
is.
knees. It will
Yes.
force you on your knees.
Yep.
But if you create community around you, if you can
Yeah.
create even a couple of people that know you deeply, where
Right.
you can just say, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe they don't call the police, but
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe they don't, but yeah, it's,
but they love you and they know what that
yeah.
means. You know,
Yes,
like, I just need you to
absolutely.
sit with me and know that I'm not okay. And it's okay to not be okay. And I think that's the epidemic of our society now, is loneliness. You know, the Surgeon General even called it out. He's like, loneliness is the epidemic of our society. And it's like, okay, we need to connect.
Right.
We need to
And
connect. We
not just
need to
on social
share.
media and yeah.
No.
Right. But
Have conversations like this where we're
right.
talking about the deepest parts of ourselves,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know, and that's connection. That's healing, because that's what,
It is.
when God created humans, we used to meet around fires, you know,
Yes. And
we
have
would
house
prepare
church
meals
in the
together.
early.
Yes,
Yeah.
we lived in community, you know,
Absolutely. Yeah. We
and
can't
now
just
we're
text
all
somebody to,
siloed.
yeah. Yep. For
We don't
sure.
have that meaningful, like, one of my favorite questions, because one thing I'm working on
Uh,
is how to tolerate small talk, because
mhm.
I know we have to do it. It's part of
Yep.
society, right? But I hate it with a capital H. Like, I
Same.
hate small talk. It makes
Yeah.
me uncomfortable. I get really annoyed.
Yes. Okay.
And I just want to be like, tell me everything about yourself.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yes.
And so one of my favorite questions when I can get above the small talk is just to put my hand on their chest right here and just say, how's your heart? Can you just tell
Aw.
me, how's your heart? And I feel
Yes.
like I've learned that's a very non, like, it's not forceful, it's not
Right.
scary,
It's
it's
gentle and
meaningful,
inviting. Yeah.
genuine. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
just tell me how your heart is. You
Yeah.
know, that
That's,
for me has opened doors, and the actual physical touch,
hmm,
sharing energy through touch, you
yeah,
know, because that's what social media has stolen from us, is
for
touch.
sure. Yep.
You know, hugging and putting your hand on someone's shoulder. You
Hmm.
know, it's
Yeah.
just basic little things that we're created for.
Yeah.
You know, like, try to hug a person, because isn't it the science says if you hug a person for
For
16
like,
seconds,
then
they're
oxy.
oxytocin,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yep.
I force my boys, I will say 1001, 1002, and they get so
Aw.
cringy. They're like, "Ah, Mom, it's a little too much, a little too much." I'm like, we
Nope.
can't even hug each other for very long because it's so uncomfortable. Like, if I
Right.
try to do
Yeah.
that with friends, they're like, oh, okay,
Yeah. They're like,
okay.
that's
I'm
enough.
like, no,
That's enough.
16 seconds. I'm hanging on.
I got the timer. That's
I'm getting
so
my
funny.
oxytocin.
Yes. Yeah.
So
That's
I'm hugging hugging you,
good.
Alex. I'm going to hang on
Yeah.
to you.
Aw, yes. I would hang on too.
I have a feeling we might make other people uncomfortable with
Yes.
how long we hang on to our hug.
You know, that's okay. They can
It's
just,
okay
yeah,
because we
that's
don't
okay.
care what other people think.
No, no. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. Cheri, I love, or Cheri, I'm so sorry. I'll
You're
get it.
fine.
Cheri and
Stop.
by me.
It's fine.
um, so I feel like I've kept you long enough and I've so enjoyed this conversation. I feel like other people are going to get so much good things from it. I love your
Yeah.
testimony. It speaks
Oh, thank
directly to my
God.
heart in this season. So feel
And your
very blessed
testimony
to
is
have you.
powerful. Your
Thank
testimony
you.
is powerful. And
Thank you.
I admire your love for Christ
Thank
and
you.
the way you just cling to him and
Thank
continue
you.
to do the good work that you're doing.
Hey,
It's important.
he keeps me in him. That's the only way.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's the only way.
yeah, for
It
sure.
is.
Yes.
It is.
Well,
Thank you so much for having
thank you
me.
so much. It was great talking. I hope
Yeah,
we can stay in touch.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye. Hey everyone. So thank you so much for tuning in to this episode with Cheri. She was so amazing and I really hope you all got something good from it. And yeah, see you guys soon.